Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Cover to Cover. You're here with Mo,
Andrea,
and Morgan.
Today, we want to talk about book announcements at Comic-Con. Things going so very right and others going so very wrong in the Harry Potter fandom. Fashionable book choices, spreading literature to those who might need it most, and wishing Gil Pierce a very happy birthday. Thank you for watching, Gil. We saw your comment.
Happy birthday!
Yeah, happy birthday! We also have a great book recommendation today from Tiffany, and a new book announcement from the one I love. Oh, did I say loathe? Well, it's one of those feelings anyways. So, anyhow, first we want to hit some summer highlights for you guys, like taking a road trip.
Woo!
And what to do to stay entertained along the way.
With summertime in full swing, many families are gearing up to take one of those long road trips. Now, road trips are notorious difficult when it comes to keeping everyone happy in the car, but good news is there are many ways to squash boredom.
Audiobooks are a great way to keep everyone occupied and engaged throughout the journey. There are several lists online to help narrow down the best choices for your age group. For ages 3 and up, the Winnie the Pooh collection is a popular choice. For ages 6 and up, Charlotte's Web is a good choice. 8 and up, Roald Dahl collection is the best choice and is narrated by the author himself. The We Free Men by Terry Pratchett and narrated by the very funny Stephen Fry is a great choice for teens, but what about for adults? Do you guys have some great recommendations for audiobooks that you've liked or want to read? Because I do.
Tell us. This is something I don't really do as much as I'm planning on in the future, so tell me everything I need to listen to.
So I love paperback books, obviously, so I'll definitely make it out to the store for things that I really want to go to, but there was one day where it was like a 4 a.m. decision, and I was like, I can't go to the store right now, but I absolutely have to read The Handmaid's Tale. So I downloaded the ebook and the audiobook and was throwing my credit card at Margaret Atwood. And so the audiobook was narrated by Claire Danes, and it was so good. So I finished it really quickly, but it was really entertaining and really well done. And after that, I definitely had a audiobook hangover and was like, oh, how do I go on from this? Because I tried to download other audiobooks and they just weren't as good. So I think from there I probably have to move on to Neil Gaiman's audiobooks. But for sure, Handmaid's Tale, narrated by Claire Danes, love her. So that's definitely one that I would definitely check out.
So guys, you know me, I like self-improvement stuff, and I've really tried a lot of nonfiction books on audiobooks. I've also been that person who tried to do my summer reading before I started a grad program, do them on audiobooks because we were driving across the country. Bad idea. Don't do it.
Really? For school books, don't do it?
It was school books.
Yeah.
It was poor economics, and I tried to listen to this other it's another economics book called Scarcity. Yeah, you can't follow along. It's not
so boring.
I hate to say it's boring because the content is so good, but to listen to it while you're driving, you're just it's in one ear and out the other. That was so hard.
Definitely a quality factor when it comes to audiobooks. The Handmaid's Tale, I'm actually listening to it because it was so good. Yeah. So once you just get that really good one,
So the narrator seems like a really important part.
It is super important. I've downloaded other audiobooks and I'm just oh my gosh, I can't get through this.
Wow.
Yeah, and the other really cool feature through iBooks is you can also speed up how you listen to it too.
Oh,
so I
okay.
did Handmaid's Tale on audiobook and Fight Club as well.
Nice.
And Fight Club is really interesting when you speed it up super fast. It's intense. But yeah.
Cool.
My husband's also tried to get me to listen to some books on history on audiobook. Also, can't do.
Aw.
I mean,
History books are kind of hard sometimes.
maybe if they recorded them in such a way where you actually hear the battle and hear more
Sound effects and stuff,
that's what I'm
background
looking
noise.
for, and not so. It was just really dry, and we have these books by this guy named Shelby Foote, and they're this big, and there's 4 or 5 of them, and
Not gonna happen.
I'm not going to read them, or I'm not going to listen to them. But I do know Nicholas Sparks books. I guess because it's already a story I'm engaged in, those are good on audiobook as well.
Well, you guys let us know what your audiobook suggestions are and who maybe some of your favorite narrators are so we can check those books out. And in the meantime, we have a story for nerds and lovers of conventions. Comic-Con is a summer convention, a summer event that is in full swing, and everybody looks forward to it all year long. It's going on right now in San Diego, California. And a big focus of the convention tends to be comic books and film and TV adaptations of that genre. But there are many authors that attend the event, from fantasy, sci-fi, and lots of other stuff, to talk about their stories at panels and all kinds of other things for fans. So it's this new platform where people can share information.
So Robert Kirkman, writer of the extremely popular Walking Dead series, has announced at Comic-Con that he has an end in vision for the story and that he's headed that direction. So with no end date in sight, fans are okay with the revelation, and they're excited that he's formulated the end.
Nice.
Author Jason Lute has also made an announcement at Comic-Con. The final book in his graphic novel series, Berlin, will be published in 2018. The third and final book will be titled City of Light.
Cool. And Frank Miller, acclaimed comic book author who brought us Sin City and lots of other really amazing work, also announced a new project he's working on at Comic-Con. And he presented his audience with some concept art, which is so cool.
Awesome.
Superman Year One is in the works, and fans of the DC franchise are so excited. And we'll just all have to stay tuned for all the future book highlights that might come out of Comic-Con, because we know that there will be some more. But what do you guys think about that as a platform for authors to interact with their fans? I mean, it's a really expensive convention.
Yeah, I feel like if you go, like, you have to go, like, full swing. You
gotta go
so,
hard.
Yeah, definitely. Like, that's kind of one of those, like, bucket lists for me, and I think I'd have to pull, like, someone in, like, just as crazy as me to, like, get all dressed up. Like, Aunt Terry, if you're watching, like, we're totally going one day. So, but what do you guys think about Comic-Con?
Not for me, but I do like that it gives authors a place to interact with people.
Yeah.
Get some feedback and make some announcements, and almost like a study, field test contest.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, so they're like testing the waters, like, we're thinking about doing this. What, how many cheers? Oh, no, you're not into it. Okay.
Yeah.
It is really neat. It's also one of those things that, like, I want to go to someday, but don't have any, like, future plans on the horizon right now, because it is a lot of effort. So in the meantime, I'll just read the internet and see what's happening.
Yeah, that's the really great thing about the modern age is, like, you can actually see what's going on.
Yeah, you're not there, but you kind of are.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, let us know in the comments if you love hearing about new information coming out of these kind of conventions, or if you're like me and you think it's just too much hype. In the meantime, we're going to take a quick break, but when we get back, we're going to have two contrasting stories about the world of Potterheads and how people are celebrating their love for that. So we'll be right back.
Well, we all know Potterheads are quick to adopt everything that links them to their favorite novels, but some fans might be taking it a little bit far.
In Indonesia, bird traders and owners have generally avoided having owls as pets, as they can be difficult to care for and engage with. However, with the popularity of Harry Potter, there's somewhat of a crisis for owls in Eastern Asia. In 2000, research reveals that there were a few hundred owls for sale in the Indonesian market, versus last year when 13,000 were sold. Concerned researchers are calling to add owls to restricted and endangered lists to prevent people from owning them. J.K. Rowling has previously made statements against people owning owls as pets due to her inspiration from her books. She has said, if anybody has been influenced by my books to think an owl would be happiest shut in a small cage and kept in a house, I would like to take this opportunity to say as forcefully as I can, you are wrong.
Story makes me sad.
Yeah.
And also, I get that in Harry Potter, owls are like these cool things and they take letters for you, but what do you honestly expect to do when you have an owl, like, as a pet in a cage? Like, they eat dead animals, normally things they kill, like larger rodents. How are you going to feed them? What are you going to do with it? They are not going to take your post mail out. They're not going to do it.
Yeah, I don't know what I would be thinking if I just, like, walked in someone's house and they were like, hey, I have an owl. I'm a Harry Potter fan.
Yeah.
Look at my owl, you know?
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, like, just go set that bad boy free. What are you doing?
I have seriously made a joke that we should have a pet owl. But I was just joking
Uh-oh.
because I just don't get how you would take care of it. And I would be
Yeah.
afraid, like, in the middle of the night, this owl would be in my face. Like,
It like busts out of its cage. It's got like really big talons. So don't get owls as pets. Really rethink those decisions. If you want to be a part of Harry Potter, they also have rats as pets, cats, and toads. So you got lots of choices.
I do
Or
have,
like stuffed owls.
there you go.
Yeah.
I have
Stuffed animals
several
and things.
friends who have tattoos of owls.
Yeah. So there's
Okay,
other
yeah.
ways to commemorate.
To do it, yeah.
Well, some other fans are finding a little bit more ethical ways to connect with the franchise.
That's right. Leave it to the Potterheads to adapt a popular card game, Cards Against Humanity, into a Harry Potter-themed extravaganza. Cards Against Muggles has been making a splash with Potterheads and has some very not safe for work content within its box. The stack consists of over 1,300 cards and is available as an online download for only $19.95.
So if you know anything about Cards Against Humanity, pretty much all of it is not safe for work, which is just a PC way to say, like, there is some language within the text there. And Cards Against Muggles is no different. If you do a quick internet search, you can see some of those choices.
Oh, wow. I've never played either one.
Oh, what?
yeah.
It's like an interesting way to see like kind of how far your friends go with certain like mentalities. I feel like it's if you're wanting to see from like a psychological or sociological perspective, you know, you could take it that direction.
Okay.
But yeah, it's an interesting game. So, but wait, it's an online download card game?
Mhm, so you can like download the templates to print out the cards. They don't currently have like a box that you can order and it comes in the
Oh,
mail.
okay. Well, yeah, it's only $19.95 for the online download. I think the regular games are like $50. If
They're
I
pretty
could
pricey,
be wrong.
yeah.
But
and then you print them out on probably hardstock and then
For the Muggles one, you do.
yes,
yeah.
printed in color. That's pretty expensive.
It can be. It's an investment, but I guess it's cheaper than getting an owl.
Yeah.
So there's that. Okay, well, in other news, other celebrations of literature are taking us to some really fashionable places in the world. We've talked about a similar story before, but fashionable literature is back in the news this summer with the library staff in Simi Valley Library in California. They're attempting to attract more teenagers to the library for some summer activities, so they have something going on.
Tammy Trout is more than just a library technician, as evidenced by her beautiful dress made out of recycled book pages. Her library colleague challenged her with making a dress to attract attention and patrons, and she succeeded. Her dress is made from more than 1,000 book pages. She wanted the theme of the dress to be girl power, so she chose her books wisely.
All the pages are from Allegiant, the final book in Veronica Roth's Divergent trilogy, featuring strong and diverse heroine Beatrice Pryor. And as a book person, Trout found it hard to rip out the pages of the book, but her belief and excitement in her project helped alleviate some of her anxiety.
I feel like I would also feel anxious
Yeah.
about pulling book pages out. And she did get lots of copies donated because they made a call and they said, hey, we're doing this project. Who wants to help? And also, who wants to donate copies of Allegiant? And they got tons of new copies. So that was thankful for them.
Oh, I'm not trying to be like, you know, rough with this because it's a cool story, but I don't know, just pulling out books from pages
It's
and like
painful.
putting it in a library to like where little kids go and they're like, oh, it's okay to pull books from pages
That's a
or
good
pages from books, you know?
point.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it'd be tough. I know in some former cases of, you know, book trusses and book projects, they've, you know, chosen books that are no longer on the market or, you know, books that are kind of out of
Out
of print, exactly. So
It seems like a lot of work to try to attract people, and I feel like there's other ways, but everyone has their own gifts and talents, and this woman
a beautiful dress,
It's
yeah.
beautiful, it's creative, and I read that she used like so much tape and glue
Oh, I bet.
to keep
wow.
it together. Just I don't think I could do it. I don't think I have the patience.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. I think she should just go in fashion.
Yeah, maybe she should.
Yeah.
It's very cool. Her sketches are neat too. Well, you guys know she's obviously a book lover, and for any other book lovers that are looking to give back to their community, please take note that there are many organizations that you can volunteer for to bring books to people from all walks of life. And in Austin, Texas, there's a really amazing organization that's in the news right now that arranges for people who are incarcerated to have books to read.
The Inside Books Project receives letters from inmates who would like to get copies of books to read. Sometimes the letters make specific requests like books by Stephen King or Dean Koontz, or sometimes they're just looking for any fantasy or mystery novel available. The organization accepts book donations and financial donations to make the project possible, and volunteers open and respond to letters from inmates every Thursday and Sunday night in Austin, Texas. Inside Books Project is a member of the nonprofit group I Live Here, I Give Here, and you can find out more information on them at insidebooksproject.org.
So I feel like this can be kind of a controversial topic because people have really strong feelings about inmates and people who are incarcerated. But I personally think that this project is amazing and heartfelt and heartwarming because all different kinds of people can be incarcerated for a whole variety of reasons and sometimes unfairly. And our justice system dictates that we put people behind bars to help them recuperate, and then they have a sentence they serve, and then when they get done serving it, they're cleared and they're allowed to go out into the world. And I think as part of their recuperation process, we should support positive things in their lives, like this.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of people behind bars are innocent, and I mean, I don't know. There are all different stages, and as you've done a lot of research
on
on
this,
the connection between literacy and incarceration. So, what do you have to say about that?
Just statistically, when kids grow up in households where they have a poor education, their family can't read, so they don't learn how to read. I mean, just generally, statistically, if you are poor, you're more likely to go to prison. That's just it. You grow up poor, you're more likely to go to prison. And that also means you're probably less educated, and you might not even be able to read. So providing resources to these folks, who cares what they did or what they didn't do, giving them a chance to learn to read, to educate themselves, and even to go into a different world and read a Stephen King novel, I think is great. I know there's lots of people come out and there's studies on this as well, and I mean, spending time reading and studying, some people get their GED while in school or some other degree. I mean, it changes them if they're able to come out and get a job and actually have a life. And that's like a whole nother issue that we can't even tackle today.
Yeah. And certainly, like, people have circumstances that they couldn't help. Like, they might have been there, they were innocent, and now they're behind bars. Or their childhood led them up to something, So I think we should definitely be helping them out and, passing books along. And there's, maybe there should be some, I'm sure there are some restrictions and things, and somebody doing a check, so there's no there's nothing that's being placed in the books to go into the prison.
There's something, a knife, by my book, a cutout,
But,
I'm sure there are. Well, great. I'm glad we're all in agreement. That's a really cool project. So everyone should check that out.
Yeah, well, let us know in the comments if you've volunteered for a project like this, because there's organizations like this all across the United States, so let us know. But in the meantime, we are going to take a look at another book recommendation from our resident recommender, Tiffany. So, Tiffany, what's on your nightstand today?
Hey, good morning, everyone. I've got another great book for your nightstand. It's called Wind, Sand, and Stars. I got this recommendation from Modern Mrs. Darcy. I love her website and all of her book recommendations. And this came as one from one of her lists that was like, books that your spouse would pick for you, or books that would take you on an adventure. So this is kind of a different one for me. I didn't realize that the original copyright was done in 1939. So this is an older book. It's one of the Nat Geo's top 10 books of all time, and it won the National Book Award. So it starts out, it's a French pilot. He actually disappeared over the Mediterranean after writing his most popular book, The Little Prince. So he's a fascinating author. He's led a fascinating life. Again, he's a French pilot, and this book takes off where he's learning from some of the veteran elder pilots. And there's just so much respect, and the time is a more innocent time. And he's learning, the ropes. They're not just teaching him where to fly in France or over the Sahara or over the Pyrenees. They're telling him, look for these trees, look for these sheep in the field. So if you have a pilot in your life, if you love adventure, anything like that, you're going to love this book to add to your nightstand. So check out Wind, Sand, and Stars.
All right, well, thanks so much, Tiffany. And Felicia Gibbs, we hear you. Thank you for watching from Jacksonville, Florida. And Sarah Williams, sup right back at you. All right, and there's another story in the news right now that doesn't make me furious, but probably could. But George R. R. Martin has announced the release of a new book slated for 2018-2019. He has been writing a companion book all along through his journey, detailing the histories of the Targaryen family in the Song of Ice and Fire. The book will possibly be titled Fire and Blood, which is the motto of House Targaryen, and there will be 2 volumes with the family's history dating from Aegon I's conquering of Westeros up until Aegon III's reign, which ends about 160 years before the setting of Game of Thrones, which was the first book in the series. The books are being called the Gurmarillion as a joke, comparing it to Tolkien's Silmarillion. It's not the Winds of Winter, but nonetheless, I am excited for this book to come out, and we're getting much closer to it. And I'm wondering, is this rubbing off on you, the George R. R. Martin mania? How are you guys feeling?
Well, I think that's interesting, the Gurmarillion, like George R.R., G.R.R. Marillion.
Yeah.
That's clever. I like that.
I think we're going to keep having this conversation. He said it will come out 2018, 2019.
He says a lot of things.
He's given himself 2.5 years to get his act together.
We'll see.
And so I think 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, we're going to be talking to you and saying, where's your book, George?
Morgan, I hope not. I don't know. We're going to see, I guess.
I'm just like, I'm
feel
like
like he's
flashing
just,
forward to like skeletons of us in these seats, like
Still waiting. There's just like a clock ticking in the background. It's never going to happen.
He is pulling you on like a string. He's just like keeping you.
I'm trying to be positive
Yeah.
about
You're
it. Okay. Woo, my
He knows
feelings
what
are
he's doing.
shifting.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Well, let us know in the comments if you love A Song of Ice and Fire, and are you part of the mania? And if you can't wait for people to quit talking about it, like me, just put your book out there. Come on, get it together. And so, as always, share this post. Send us a message, and we will send you a free T-shirt. We have crew sizes and crew neck options and V-neck options. So when you send us a message, make sure you tell us your size, the style you want, crew neck or V-neck, and your address, and we'll get that out to you.
And don't forget about that flash sale. So for 19 minutes after this show, you can get your copy of Wind, Sand, and Stars for 99 cents.
Awesome deal. All right. Well, thank everyone so much for joining us today. We hope you have a great rest of your week. I'm Mo.
I'm Andrea.
And I'm Morgan.
And we will be back on Friday, July 28th at 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Central Time. So until then, keep reading, writing, and being awesome. I know we will. Bye.
See you soon.